Okay.
Hey, welcome back, guys. Um, does anybody want to start us off for this session with a recap of last session? Now, it's been a while.
Well, I don't remember. And Annie wasn't here. Looks like it's all on you, Echo.
No, that's not good.
There's only one other option, so
Yeah, it's been like what a month for you guys since last time.
A little bit longer, unfortunately.
Mm,
Oh,
Um, okay, so I don't remember anything about how it began or ended.
um,
I have a horse now.
you do
yeah,
have
I
a
know. I know we
horse.
got horses.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you
I,
did get
I
horses. It was a
recall.
whole shopping session.
I recall Rune speaking to horses at the stable,
Mm.
Yeah.
and I learned that my horse was named Captain,
Aw.
and that's all I've got.
Did we end riding off towards some kind of camp?
Um,
I need you to understand, class. There's a reason I don't give recaps.
that's fair. As far as I know, the gist of it is you collected, I believe, a the payout for rescuing. Um, I now I forget his name. The individual in the mountain pass who was held by kobolds. You checked if there was anything else, or you went to sleep after a full day of doing things. Um,
And I remember that they were the Kingdom of Huddle at the end of it.
yes, yes. Um, and the next morning, you went to go check if there was anything else on the job board at the Bastion. There was nothing. Um, so uh, you went back for lunch, or nope, you actually went to go peruse the town. You bought horses, like fully bought them. They are yours now and your responsibility.
Oh! I remember also we went to that Fletcher and Boyer, and he was
Mm-hmm.
very cranky.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I purchased some barbed
Javelins
javelins from him.
and
Oh yeah, I got
Aldwin
barbed arrows.
got, yeah, barbed arrows. Um, you also stopped off at the blacksmith.
Oh
And
yeah, and I asked for a lance.
yes,
This is here in my inventory now.
yes, it is. And I totally forgot to play the music. But um, with that, you went for lunch at the Varmalid Lodge, to which the proprietor and the owner of the Varmalid Lodge, Ruger, said that the Circle of Snow and Ice were having a bit of a problem and that they would probably need help. So, with that in mind, you got your horses and you picked up your lance and you set off for where the circle or the grove of the Circle of Snow and Ice is.
And it was in the direction because I know we were looking for ones that headed in the same direction of going towards like the place that sells the magic stuff. Can't remember the name.
Uh, the Circle of Snow and Ice, the druids there do have the capability
Yeah,
to enchant items, and they hold more magical items than would be available in the city of Norta. Um, so Um, you're going to the same place.
Perfect.
Or you were told that they might have magical items that could be sold or traded for. But you were given directions. Said you were told that it will take a few hours on horseback to the circle. So, you're going in the direction of where the mountain pass is, where the temple to Aelor, where you rescued the elderly merchant from the kobolds. However, you are taking a different path, a fork in the road that's not leading up the mountain, but it's still leading upwards in a direction. You are winding through a small forest path, and luckily your horses are well trained to handle the forest and the terrain. I just want to take you guys to what the landscape of Nortug sort of looks like.
Okay. Very tree.
Tree?
Yep, tree.
Very, very tree. Yes.
Very tree.
Um,
Don't question it, Echo. Just go with it.
I'm not,
travel is fast on horseback, and the incline doesn't seem to bother them at all. Eventually, you get to a point where the trees start to thin, and you start to come up to a plateau of sorts. A step, if you will, of terrain surrounded by mountains. 3 hours doesn't take nearly as long as you would think. And eventually you begin seeing a very secluded and nestled, well, village of sorts. It's hard to explain. The structures aren't made of wood, but there's definitely some elements of wood. The best I can describe it is it looks like something you would see real world as like a Mongolian campsite or a nomadic campsite. Maybe it's best if I show you.
okay.
Fancy looking.
There is one big tent in the center surrounded by other tents, and most of them are made with heavy leather or carcasses of like fur carcasses. You see some of the tents are held up by these large, what could be elephant tusks, but as you get closer you can tell it's just the style of them. They are actually made of wood. They're not actually actual elephant tusks. However, when you begin to come close to the circle, this village, an individual walks up to you, stopping you. Hello there. What's your business?
I don't remember.
We came from a place that gave us a
Okay,
quest saying
can
that
I
you needed help.
fucking legit? Like, I don't remember why we're here. And it's kind of important that we do.
Yeah.
So, can we like get a reminder?
Yeah, sure. So you were directed towards the circle of snow and ice because they are having trouble with poachers.
That's okay. I do remember
Okay.
that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So,
We were directed here to help with the poachers that you guys have been having an issue with.
oh, can I ask who sent you?
I tell her.
Oh, I see. All right.
We're fumbling.
Goodness.
we're fumbling.
I don't remember the name of the guard and the.
It was Ruger, your the proprietor of the Varmalid Lodge, the older gentleman that serves you tea every morning.
Okay, man. Yeah, I tell her it was Ruger.
Oh, yeah, he's a friend. Welcome to the circle. I'm Soma. Follow me. And she turns and starts walking back to the village.
Does the village look like it would be reasonable for us to ride the horses in, or?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I would say you see a lot of like elk being ridden about, um, almost exclusively. There's more elk than horses, but you do see tons of wildlife just kind of hanging around. I mean, this is a druid circle. They are more connected with nature than anyone else here in this area. So, I assume you stay on horseback as you follow the druid.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Okay. I've actually never seen you around here. Are you new to the area?
Yeah. Yeah, we're fairly new still.
Oh,
First time being here in particular.
well then. Welcome to the frozen north of Arboris.
Thank you.
What can you tell us about the area?
Well, um, as you can see, it's cold,
Very.
but it's harsh, to say the least, if you don't know what you're doing. Um, but through the harshness, there is some good qualities to the land and the forest here. So you just got to be on the lookout for them. This here at the circle is one of those nice places.
You do not look like you have been here for very long.
Um, kind of a new. Yeah, I'm new.
Not, no, not you. The village is portable.
We like to keep it that way, yeah. or at least the elders do. If there's something that needs tending to by the circle in a more northern location, we'll pack up and set up camp there. But this plateau is mainly where you can find us mostly.
Suppose it's beneficial to be able to move around when need to be.
Oh, very much so. You said you were coming to the grove to help us out, right?
Yes, with the poachers that we were told about. I heard you guys could use some assistance with them.
Yes. They're well. I should probably take you to the first druid. She would know more about it than I do. I just know it's bad news. Hunting our magical creatures is when they're already low in population is never any good. Don't you think?
I would say so. Don't need anyone killing what there isn't plenty of.
Of course, of course. Well, have you ever seen a Mavir?
Have I ever seen him of here?
Yeah, have I?
Make a history check.
History check.
17.
17. Okay.
I don't know how to make a history check on Foundry.
Under your skills, like right in the middle of that front page, you'll see all your skills listed. You just click on history, and then it'll ask you what kind of roll it is. Or just roll it because I accidentally was holding my push to talk. I didn't mean to do that.
Sorry, I'm having an issue with Percy being a jerk.
Poor Percy.
Did you roll it?
No, I don't see.
So if you're looking at your Foundry character sheet, you click on the little gear, so you're looking at the first page,
Yep.
and then skills right in the middle. History is about 6 down.
I do not see that.
Oh. Okay, you have to open up your character sheet. So click on the little actor in the top right.
That's left.
I have faith that you will. Nope.
No.
Close that window.
Close this entire one.
Close the little prototype token Aldwin mirror. That's not going to help you.
Yes. Hold on.
Now click on the one more over. Now click on party. Click on that. There's your character sheet. You'll see history.
See, this is.
You
What
don't.
I did, then I popped it out, hoping.
Yeah, it's broken. You can't pop it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where my issue comes in.
Gotcha. All right, we fixed it. Yay! All
I
right.
didn't realize you couldn't pop it out.
Yeah, it's broken right now.
Yeah.
Sag. My horse, when works popped out.
It's a different type of sheet. That's why.
Sag. All right.
So yeah, with a 17, Um, 8. You haven't really seen one. They are more of a northern creature. Aldwin. They don't really venture south. They enjoy the snow and the colds of the northern Arboris. Etienne, you have seen one before. They are quite large and very beautiful and majestic. They are also hunted a lot. There is no law against hunting these creatures where you're originally from. So they are scarce. But you have seen one, and this is what they look like.
Oh, so pretty.
They are rare. Where I'm from, they are hunted to scarcity. But I know of them.
That's too bad. They're quite the creature up close.
I've never seen one before, so.
Well, as far as I know, you're here to protect them. Get these poachers off our land by any means necessary. So
that we can help with.
good. As she's walking through, you see there are not a lot of people here, but it seems like a very close knit community. Like everyone is helping everyone. It's like a one big family with little families of their, a big family with little families to consist of it. But this druid named Soma, as she introduced herself, takes you to the big tent.
Soma
She,
this.
yeah.
Sorry.
She takes you to like a hitching post first and foremost. Sorry, no, the horses don't really fit inside the big tent. I know it looks big enough, but gonna have to leave them here.
That's fine.
Etienne dismounts.
So you hitch all your horses up to the hitching post outside the big tent.
Dismount and tell Keyleth that I'll be back shortly.
You get a short huff of approval from Keyleth. But Soma, after waiting patiently for you to dismount and hitch your horses, she turns and leads you up the short ramp up to a sort of like a stage of sorts. This big tent is a little bit elevated than the rest. She leads you up the ramp and she opens the big heavy flap with some effort. She doesn't seem that strong, and she's a very short tiefling. But she holds it open for you all to enter. And inside this tent, immediately you are hit with a wave of warmth. And while you've been traveling for 3 hours in the snow, it's a welcome warmth. It's very toasty in here. As you see in the center of this tent is a bonfire. And it is burning steadily. It's not raging, but the embers really do heat the place up.
Feels really nice and warm in here with that bonfire.
Oh yeah, we may be Arctic druids, but we still need warmth. So, in this center tent, you see there are different flaps that lead to different sections of it. This center section is almost perfectly circular, surrounding the big bonfire, and it's big enough to hold quite a lot of people. Uh, Trying to think how to describe this best. You see, yeah, there's just other partitions that you can't see right now. But as she lets you in, she turns to you and says, I didn't quite catch your names. I'll need to tell the first druid that you're here to help on Ruger's behest. Can I get your names?
That's right. We didn't. I'm sorry about that. I'm Aldwin.
Nice to meet you, Aldwin.
Nice to meet you.
I am Etienne.
Nice to meet you, Etienne. And I assume Rune introduces herself.
And
She flips him the bird and walks out.
Hi, I'm Rune.
Of course.
And this is
I
Spell.
can't do a good voice.
So, she smiles and nods and, all right, make yourselves comfortable. You can pretty much sit anywhere, and you see around this bonfire there are plenty of places to sit. It's kind of like a that's the word I'm looking for, an amphitheater of sorts. Like the bonfire is kind of set into the ground. There's like a raised wood area, and there's plenty of like wooden benches, like animal rugs and stuff like that. So there's plenty of places to sit and be comfortable. However, once she gathers your names, all right, I'm gonna go get the first druid. I'll see you around. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll
I'll take a seat next to the bonfire.
Yeah, she goes off to the far partition on the opposite side of the tent, entering that and disappearing behind it.
I think Etienne would take his gauntlets off and like just warm his fingers in the fire.
Oh yeah, it's like how big this like bonfire is, you would half expect that it would be a little too warm in this tent, but the temperature is perfect. It is a welcome reprieve from the cold, snowy air and terrain.
Curious. You are from warmer climates, yeah? He's talking to you, Aldwin.
Fair. Yeah, pretty warm.
I am not, and yet this is unusual. I suspect magic of some kind.
Yeah, I will have to say I don't think I've came across anything like this in my time of traveling. There must be something magical keeping it from spreading or being too large.
Or even burning the tent. I would
Yes.
expect such.
Do we see like a opening at the top of the tent in this room
Yes, you
to
do.
like vent the smoke?
Yeah, you do. It's kind of as you look up, you see uh, these massive pillars of like tree trunks, uh, treated, and they're all kind of like a teepee, basically. But you can't really see like where they go off to, but you do see them kind of come up to a point, and there is a little bit of an opening at the top. Um, it's way up in the top of the tent.
Okay. Any like burn marks or like smoke marks?
Yeah,
Like
you do. You do see some smoke marks.
okay.
Yeah.
Is there anybody listening? Like, can I get maybe a flap that's slightly ajar, or anybody peeking?
Well, that's a good question. Make a perception check.
Yeah, like if like anyone kind of like watching over us, basically.
26.
You don't see anybody watching, but you do hear like a jovial conversation happening in a different partition. Um, and sorry, I just had a notification. Um, it doesn't sound like anything. It's hushed enough to where you can't really make out what is said, but you know there are other people in this tent, and they're just in a different partition. Um, the main partition is fairly empty, but with a 26, you don't see anybody eavesdropping or really paying you mind.
Okay. I mean, I think Etienne is a little surprised by that.
Okay.
I mean, he would.
Uh, why would he be surprised by that? I'm curious.
Well, he would be listening or eavesdropping on strangers coming in, is why.
Ah, I see.
He
Okay.
thinks it's a tactical mistake.
Ah, okay. Gotcha. Fair enough.
Basically thinking like, you know, invite two random people that could have made up a story in without keeping an eye on them type thing.
Yeah, but he's not saying anything out loud about it. He's just. Have you
Fair enough.
ever hunted any hunters in this sort of weather?
In this particular weather, no, but I have done some hunting in cold, like somewhat colder weather. Not this extreme though.
Then maybe you might have an idea of where we can begin to look.
Yes, I don't know much about the creatures, but typically they like to stay hidden, especially when they know that they are being watched and looked over. Like to stay in the parts where it's least visibility from a distance. So anywhere where there's going to be lots of trees that block sight of you, or mountains where it kind of dips in to stay out of immediate sight. would probably be our best bet.
A good guess. I am sure these nomadic druids might have more advice for us.
Yes. And these creatures could be different from what I'm used to.
Only one way to find out.
At almost on cue, the tent flap opens where Soma had exited and went to go get the first druid. And Soma's the first one out. She holds open the flap, and coming out from this other partition, you see this rather tall furbolg, an older furbolg, with white hair that is braided, and it kind of comes together like below the chin and down to the middle of her chest. She's in comfy like robes with a staff that she wields while she. I'm getting a lot of feedback, Austin. For
On my end?
yes, from your mic.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry.
But she walks in, and Etienne, how tall are you?
Etienne is not that tall. Hold on. Yeah, Etienne is stout and stocky, but he's about 5'9".
Oh, 5'9". Okay, gotcha. So yeah, this furbolg stands about 6'6", which is fairly small, but still taller than you. She towers.
Most people are.
And this would be her.
Yeah.
She comes out with a straight and serious face. A furbolg later in her years, but she comes out and greets you with open hands. Hello. I hear that you three have come to help us with our problem.
Yes.
Etienne nods.
We were told about it by
Ruger.
Ruger. Insert name here. We've
Yes.
been told by Ruger.
Of the Vamelid lot.
I know of him.
I am trying to prove to the DM I remember this.
Well, a friend of Ruger's is a friend of ours. How much did he tell you of the issue that we're dealing with here in the woods?
There are poachers. You need them to not be poaching anymore.
Yes, they're hunting Mavir. And here, well, we've put a ban on hunting them. And that ban has been in place for 2 years. So hunters hunting a band, well, it's not good, to say the least.
Real quick, how far are we from the border to Nithian Kingdoms?
Here you're about 10, 12 miles away from the border.
Do I suspect perhaps some hunters from the Nithian Kingdoms might have just
It's possible.
strayed?
It's definitely possible.
Okay.
We don't know who they are. We can't find them. They seem to be pretty adept at evading us. Well, we have quite a few search parties out now, but the more helping hands we can get, the faster we can find them and, well, get them off our land.
Has
Has
there
there-
left? Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you. Has there been a common spot that they seem to always go to that you've noticed?
They're pretty. They seem to be pretty good at covering their tracks and not staying in one spot for more than one night. Uh, they seem adept hunters, to say the least.
Have they left anything behind? Maybe a weapon or supplies?
Hmm. Well, nothing in terms of weapons. Um, I mean, the only thing we can really glean from their camps is that they've been there. Um, you know, the remnants of a fire. Um, oh, well, there was this one thing we did find. Um, we did find a bolt tip. So they are using crossbows to hunt the Mavir. The most I can say about that is that at least they're being a little more humane in the killing of these creatures.
May I see this bolt?
Um, yes, Soma, please go fetch the bolt tip. And you see Soma hustles away to a different partition in the main tent.
Okay. Is there a particular spot in certain times of the day and night that these creatures that they are hunting will stay?
Um, I'm confused about your question. Can you restate it?
Is there a spot that they like to go to often that we can potentially stake out to see if we can catch the poachers setting up camp nearby?
Here's here's the thing. Hunting Mavir is a tiring job, as the Mavir are nocturnal. Um, so to catch one, you would need to hunt them at night. So they move around during these hunters or these poachers are most likely sleeping during the day, possibly holding up in a one of the many caves or um, underground locations here in the forest. And it's hard to really track them down in that term. Um, there's many places to hide. The Norton Forest is vast. So I think our best bet for finding these poachers is to track the Mavir at night and protect them from an attack. You, you, and she looks at Aldwin. You seem like you have hunted before.
I have. I have not in particular hunted in such extreme areas as this, but I have in similar, just less extreme. But I don't know much about the Navir, other
Well,
than what you have told me.
what I can tell you is that what I have told you already is that they're big, powerful creatures, nocturnal. They move very fast, and well, their antlers are somewhat of a prize. Their antlers are pure magic, and they're used for a lot of enchantments.
Hmm.
But if you have a better way of tracking down these poachers than I do, then, well, I'm not going to hold you back from getting things done.
Typically, I would like to try and follow like any sort of pattern that poachers do. Usually they all have a pattern. Sometimes
Now,
more difficult to see,
hmm,
but it
if
could be like where if you have a map of where the campsites that you have found are, we could take a look at that if you have one.
sure, yeah, we've recorded that. We can get you that. We haven't seen a pattern yet, but we've caught this problem pretty early in its making. So um, it's a work in progress.
Okay.
At this point, Soma does come back with the crossbow bolt tip. Um, and she takes it from Soma and she hands it over to you, Etienne. Go ahead and make a.
So actually,
Uh
uh, Etienne. So in my starting equipment, I have a crossbow and some bolts that I probably got from Sonder. So I'd like to just directly compare it.
compare it. It's a match.
It's a match.
Yeah, like it's similar.
Sounded shocked
Okay.
about that answer.
Yeah, I didn't expect it to just match. Okay.
Yeah,
Etienne
I was
frowns.
gonna have you roll for it, but if you did that, it's pretty plain to see that the bolts are similar in make.
Yeah,
It, it's
Etienne frowns.
it's
Do I
more it's more of a, it's a standard bolt tip, but the wood that is still like cracked inside the, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's more of the wood. The wood is what tips you off as, oh, these are the same, come from the same place.
I would assume I would notice the face he makes after comparing them and make a pretty good assumption that they match.
It seems that you found something concerning.
Your hunters are from the north, where we are not protected.
I see. The kingdoms, I assume.
Etienne nods.
Figured that day would come when we found Sonduran hunters come into our land. Well, I will send word to our other parties already out that they are not to be given mercy if they are
As
found.
as concerning as it seems, at least we know who it is. It will allow us to hopefully better track a pattern or where or how they're doing this and keeping away from all of you.
Right. Well, um,
They are certainly martially trained. We would be best to be careful.
and it's just you three.
Yes.
Etienne looks at Rune.
Uh,
And
uh,
this is spell.
We have 4 with spell.
oh man. Well,
Um,
with this news, I suppose it would be best, and I already had an idea of actually sending you with a fourth, if that's okay.
I don't think we wouldn't mind. I do want to ask, is there potentially any magical weaponry that we could use to better our chances here?
It's possible. Um, I would need to ask around if anybody has anything extra that are they're willing to trade or barter with.
We could, of course, just borrow and return it back when the deed is done, too.
I think that can be arranged. Yeah. Um, however, I think I will send a fourth with you if you don't mind.
Is this for our benefit or supervision?
It's very much for your benefit and for our interests in the circle. Soma, can you go find Ellie? And Soma kind of smirks and nods. Uh, yeah, I can go find her. She's somewhere. Uh, yeah, and she kind of darts off deeper into the tents.
Could we get some insight on who this Ellie is?
She's my niece.
Okay.
Um, she, well, she's very passionate. It's
Is
better
that
if
a
you.
polite way of saying naive?
Yeah, that could
No,
go either way.
no. Let's just say, um, judging by the look of you, and I don't mean to assume, well, Ellie is really good with getting up in someone's face when she needs to.
Well, suppose something like that could come in handy. But it
Plus,
could also go the other way.
plus, she's been with us for a few months now, so she knows the area a little bit better.
That would be useful.
Um, in any case, is there any more questions that you might have?
Um, I think I've I think you've given everything that I could use to hunt. Um, as long as we could see that map of the camps as well.
Sure. Well, she says sure. And um, Ellie should be here soon. Um, I'll go try to retrieve a copy of a map for you. If you would just wait here, and well, Soma will introduce you to my niece.
Thank you.
Uh, it only takes maybe about 5 minutes um, before eventually the main flap to the tent opens up, um, and well, in walks another Forbolg. Annie, would you like to describe your character for us?
Yeah. Uh, so Eloise, she is part furbolg, half fawn. Her legs are primarily fawn-like. They're speckled with white dots, almost like a baby deer. She has long purple, violet flowing hair, that has twigs, leaves, flowers tied into braids into her hair. It seems a little bit chaotic. Um, she is in kind of like a flowing kind of gown, so to say, with like various knickknacks tied onto them. Um, and she just looks at everyone kind of all wide-eyed, and she instantly blushes. Her face turns red as she's almost embarrassed being in front of new people. And she says, "Oh, hello."
Hello.
Good day.
Soma kind of peeks out from behind. How tall is Eloise?
Oh, what did we agree on? I think like almost 6 feet, a little bit above 6 feet.
uh, I thought she was a little bit taller, like below seven
Oh,
feet.
yeah, let's do that then.
Oh,
Slightly.
just a tower of a person.
um, but yeah, Soma kind of her 5'2" self peeks out from behind Eloise. I found yeah, I found Ellie. Um, here she is. Go meet them. You're
Eloise just awkwardly waves hi at them. Hildy, Hildy.
uh, at this point, hearing her name, the first druid comes back. Um, uh, yes, and she kind of flounders a little bit. Um, I have a copy of a map for you. This is Ellie or Eloise, um, my niece. Um, Ellie, I need you to go with this group and be their guide around the forest. They're going to help us find the poachers.
Well, no one said I had to be anyone's guide here. I thought I was just visiting you.
Well, you've
What?
been here for a few months already. Wouldn't you like to help us out with this problem that we're having?
Well, very much so. I mean, I prefer to work alone, but I suppose I could help out with. I mean, it is you, Hildy, after all. I could help out.
I would very much like you to help out. And she kind of gets this stern look on her face.
She just stands there, like twisting her, like playing with her fingers, just looking down at the floor. Fine, fine. I will help you out, Hildy.
In any
Oh,
case, apparently the poachers are Sondurian and they're dangerous. So, the more to a group, the better. And no more venturing out in the forest on your own. And she walks over to you, Aldwin, and holds out a rolled piece of parchment that looks to be a map.
Nah, reach and grabbing. I thank you. Hello, Ellie. I'm Aldwin.
nice to meet you. She
Nice
looks
to
at
meet you.
the other two.
I am Etienne. Do you prefer Ellie or Eloise?
Ellie is fine.
Then Ellie you are.
You have a strange voice. Where are you from?
Not here.
Okay, same.
Oh,
Hi, I'm Maroon.
I'm Rune, and this is Spell.
Well, if I assume we'll let Abby do that introduction.
Sure, yeah.
Um,
Well then, perfect. Acquaintances made. We have a few hours before it gets dark, so if you'd like to familiarize with yourselves or amongst yourselves, now's the time to do it.
Perhaps you can inform us as to where we will be heading.
Um, well, bit north into the Norton Forest. Um, it's like I said, it's a vast forest, so it may take you a day or two to find them, but we will give you any weapons, provisions you might need. I assume you need a tent too.
I would like to not sleep under the frost, if that is all right.
Of course. Soma, would you go fetch the quartermaster and make sure that everything is prepared for a 4-man group? Soma nods and scurries out.
she likes to
Perhaps
boss
also
Soma around.
uh, a means to see in the dark.
Right. Yes,
Some of us are not so lucky.
that's fine. Um, I think Soma will bring back something that could be usable.
We are hunting hunters, and a torch lights the way for us and for them. So
That is duly noted. Um, hmm. Uh, she kind of thinks for a bit as I look through stuff.
okay. A little like loading wheel starts spinning over her head.
Oh yeah.
Loading. Loading.
Uh,
Give us some night vision goggles, man. They're totally invented. Totally a thing.
Eyes of Night are a thing.
actually, if can she see in the dark? I don't think she can see in the dark either.
Can do furbolgs have night vision?
I'm,
Dark vision, I should say.
I'm looking it up and it says they do.
No, they don't.
They don't. Okay.
So it's just me and Rune then.
Yeah. Well then, actually, that's might be something that I can help out with. Give give me just a moment. Um, and she retreats back to behind her flap once more. You can use this time to kind of chat amongst yourselves.
Okay. Alduin unravels the map and says, Entian, you know a little more about people we're hunting than I do. So I think we both look take a look at this map. Your knowledge of them, my knowledge of patterns, should be able to try and come up with a pattern that there's kind of going off of to help us find a general area of where to look.
Etienne nods, and he'll look over the map.
And I will
Okay.
also.
So we'll make this into a little bit of a skill challenge. So the first roll I'll need is from Etienne, and it's going to be a history roll.
God fucking damn it. I knew it.
You got this.
From Aldwin, I'm going to need a survival check.
Right.
Can I take a peek kind of at what they're doing, but like try not to like interject myself into what they're doing?
Of course.
Okay.
Survival roll.
Without looking up from the map, Etienne says, "Tell me, Ellie, what sort of skills do you bring to the table?"
I would say I'm pretty strong. I can hit things very well. And I have some background in the circus, so if you ever need, some cheering up with a flute or dance, I can do that too.
Etienne like doesn't look up at you, but he just kind of looks up and blinks a couple times. I see.
That's good to know.
I start playing with my hair nervously.
I was meaning perhaps magic.
No.
There you go.
I see you're a little nervous. You can play with spell if you want.
That is amazing. Man, Austin, that's a point of inspiration right there. Like, seriously, that was great. Wow, did not expect that. That was okay. Well, the next the next set of rolls is going to be from both of you, and it's going to be an investigation check.
Really playing to my strengths here, you know? 4.
I will use one of my 2 inspirations to re-roll that because I feel like this is
All right.
a good track that I'm on trying to figure out a pattern.
Oh, both of you need to
you're
roll an
rolling as
investigation.
well.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, 14. That's better. We've gone from definite complete failure to possible success.
10. I'm 24 together. You got this.
Yeah, you don't get to add them.
Nope, don't get to add them. Okay, so we got a 12, an 18, a 14, and a 10. All right. Judging by the locations on the map, it's not many. It's maybe 5 campsites that they've located. And judging by the 5 campsites, Aldwin with the 18, they seem to be good hunters. That you can tell from the map. They have a good spread and layout of the land. They are using good hunting locations, or what you can see as good hunting locations. But they're not but the campsites are not like in the direct center of these hunting locations. They're just on the outskirts of it. So to not taint the area that they're hunting in. But with the 12 in history, you can't Etienne can't recall what the pattern of Sonduran hunters are. It's just eluding you. You can't really think about it by looking at this map. With the 14 and 10 investigation, both of you come to the conclusion that there's not enough information here to see a pattern yet.
Okay. Next, I'm going to looking at the 5 campsites, seeing that they're next to hunting spots, but not on it, tainted. Can I see where? How close are these camps that they've made so far to each other?
They're not. They're within a day of each other.
Your
For
last
sure.
name is Snuggle Puff. Okay.
Okay. Can I see where the next hunting spot is that is within a day of the most recent camp that they found?
The most recent camp that they found is kind of nestled in between 2 good hunting spots that you can see according to the terrain. And you
Okay.
kind of backtrack and look at the other camping spots and you're like, oh, this would be a good hunting spot, but also on the other side of this camp would be a good hunting spot. And like there's at least 2 good hunting spots near each camp. So you can't really
Okay.
determine which hunting spot they're going to be in.
Okay. Alduin will ask, "Hey, Ellie,
Mhm.
off of this map of the surrounding areas, where could you point out where two good hunting spots are that are next to each other that they have not put a camp at yet?"
She just looks at the map, sniffs.
Mm.
This
May-
one. And then she just points at a random place.
I was going to have you make a survival check, but this works just fine.
Does she look like she knows what she's doing?
Nope.
Yeah, can I make a check on how accurate that would be where she pointed?
I mean, she pointed directly to a hunting spot,
Can
which
I
was
tell?
luck. Yeah.
Would I know off of my hunting experience that there would be a good hunting spot next to the one she pointed at? Like, so like there's
Oh,
two there?
her fingertip went directly into a good hunting spot that you can see from that area.
But can I see that there's another hunting spot around that one that she pointed at? Like a secondary hunting spot near it.
Sure, yeah. It would be maybe a mile away from that hunting spot, but you know, you're working on a map that is about 50 miles by 50 miles. It is a
Right.
big location.
Okay. You know, that wouldn't be a bad spot to check. They haven't made a camp there. And they've always made a camp next to 2 good hunting spots. There's one not about a mile away from there. We could start at that location to see if we see any traces of them.
Um,
I do have a hunch about these sort of things, and she pats her hip.
Uh,
Is there a weapon on your hip, or is this?
Or a spell on her hip, and she's just patting spell.
Eloise, in your head,
Huh.
you hear, "You most certainly do not."
I try to keep myself from smirking.
Okay.
Ellie, please roll me a d20.
Okay. Oh.
Etienne, do you have any ideas other than here? I feel like this would be a good spot, unless you think otherwise.
If we can eliminate other possibilities as to where these hunters might be, and we have a good idea where they are, we must approach them quickly. I am not quiet. And if they get word that we are approaching them, they will set traps, they will run, they will make things very difficult for us.
We could always have you take the back end of the group and have one of us scout it out before to see if they are there. Then we can work from that.
That is not a terrible idea, but if our scout is found and I am not in a close enough position to heal them, that could go very poorly for us.
It is a very risky strategy, but we could see how it goes when we're out there. If we need to take that route, I will take the risks, being the one that thought of it, and scout it
Well,
out.
hold on. Ellie, have you ever fought Sanderins?
Have I ever?
No.
No.
Okay. Have you ever fought soldiers?
Yes.
Mhm. Yes.
Okay. That is a good thing. Perhaps, I mean, perhaps you would take the vanguard.
Uh huh.
Hmm?
I could be a distraction if you need one. I
Uh,
I have a flute.
I do not. Okay. One thing I know for certain about Sanderins,
Mhm.
they will not be distracted by a flute, except for perhaps a means to silence it.
Okay.
So, unless you would like a crossbow bolt to the throat, let us shelve that idea for now.
So there's no talking to them.
There may be. We can certainly try, except your aunt,
Mhm.
Ellie, did
Totally.
say no mercy. So I
Right.
suspect our task is to kill on sight.
Right.
At this point, uh, the first druid comes back, uh, opening the flap of her partition, and in her hand, you see she's clutching something in her hand. Well, it's short notice, but this is what I can come up with. Make sure you use them wisely. Uh, Ellie, here, you take two. And
Uh,
she uh, holds out her hand to put something in your palm. Um, when you do, she sets down two little buds, like flower buds. And who else needs dark vision?
I would certainly appreciate it.
Here. And she holds out her hand to put two more of these buds into your palm.
I misunderstand. Do I plant them?
No, they go ahead and eat them when you need dark vision for 8 hours.
Mm.
Oh,
And me and Rune should be fine. So I look over to Rune.
I tie one of them into my hair, stash the other in my pocket.
Etienne puts both of them in his bag.
So yeah, they're just dark vision. It's the basic dark vision spell.
Okay. Do I smoke it? No.
I get high off of it.
Yeah.
um, I did you glean anything from that map?
Etienne looks at.
Completely, but we do have a idea of a spot that we're gonna check out first.
So you have a plan. That's good.
Yes.
All right.
I was the one who found it. She whispers to Hildy.
She gives you a nice, polite smile. Good. Good. Um, well, Soma should be arriving outside shortly with provisions, a tent, and other things that you might need. You asked about something maybe magical or enchanted for weaponry. Am I correct?
Yes,
All right.
that is correct.
I did ask someone to try and find what we can spare, and it would be on loan, so you would need to return it. But if you wait about an hour, we can see if we have anything to loan you. Will that suffice?
That should do.
Good. Right. Well, um, enjoy our home, enjoy the warmth of the fire, and there are other things that I have to attend to. Ellie, don't get into too much trouble.
I won't, I promise.
Good.
She pats her hip again.
And I believe I haven't really properly introduced myself. We just kind of got into it. Well, Ellie has already said my name, or at least a nickname of mine, but I am First Druid Hildegard. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure.
And she kind of looks at you expectingly.
You
Sorry,
don't,
what?
Like
she's
introductions.
waiting for you to say your name.
Oh, sorry, I blanked there. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Aldwin.
Aldwin?
I am Etienne.
She nods. And then Rune introduced herself and spell. Right. Good. Return anytime. And once again, thank you for your help. We really appreciate it. I will see you all later. And she
That is it.
retreats back into her partition of the tent. with that, let's take a little break. Just a 5-minute.
You got it.
Okie dokie.